The Knicks need to fill their roster. What will they do with their 14th spot? The New York Knicks clearly aren't in a rush. While much of the NBA seems to be hoarding players, teams are able to keep up to 21 players through training camp and preseason. The Knicks are currently at 13 roster spots guaranteed for next season. They've yet to sign one of their two rookies.
Love watermelon but hate the sticky cutting mess? This compact 2-in-1 tool slices neat cubes and flips into a retractable fork for easy serving at parties, picnics, or home. Want to get the best verified deal and see full details? Visit grabdeal.us/3 right now.
They haven't even signed a player to a two-way deal. Advertisement optionality has been a big emphasis under the Leon Rose regime, and New York is continuing to lean into that, even fresh off its first NBA championship in 53 years. To compare how the team stacks up at this point in the offseason as it pertains to its roster, New York is currently the only team in the NBA that hasn't filled a single two-way spot. Furthermore, the Knicks are one of two teams in the league with 14 players or fewer on some form of contract for next season. New York eventually will sign a 14th player and fill out its 3 two-way spots before the season starts. However, it's clear that the franchise is playing the semi-long game with rounding out its roster. In theory, the Knicks could be eyeing a trade, using lower salaries under contract to get a player or players to contribute quicker, then rounding out the roster via free agency. New York also might just go into training camp and have several players compete for the 14th spot, which is what happened last season when Landry Shamet beat out Garrison Matthews and Malcolm Brogdon. What the Knicks also might be waiting for is to see which players on packed rosters get cut. Eventually, rival teams will have to release players to meet the league's roster requirements. When that happens, New York could identify someone it likes and sign that player later in the preseason. One thing is clear right now: the Knicks aren't in love with the remaining free agents in their price range. If they were, the need for a third center already would be addressed. Kelly Olynyk, Nick Richards, or Bismack Biyombo already would be in New York. That's not to say that one of these players won't eventually join the Knicks, but reading the tea leaves on how quiet Rose and company have been since the initial weeks of free agency, it appears obvious that they'd rather exhaust other avenues first. Advertisement New York did try to address its need for center depth semi-recently. It extended an offer to Mavericks restricted free agent Moussa Cisse, one that Dallas eventually matched. There aren't any remaining centers who are restricted free agents the Knicks could go after financially, ones who could make an impact, not without a trade. New York is poking at the second apron. As more time passes without the Knicks showing urgency to sign a 14th player to a standard deal, it feels likely that the franchise is going to play the longish game and either further evaluate the trade market or see who becomes available when rosters are dwindled down. For now, New York is fine with Karl-Anthony Towns and the newly acquired Andre Drummond holding down the fort at center. Eventually, though, the Knicks will need to have a plan C for insurance. If you're patiently waiting for New York to do something, you might be waiting a while. There's no need for them to sign a 14th player today, tomorrow, or the next day just for the sake of saying they signed a 14th player. Maximizing each roster spot is pivotal, as Shamet, Jordan Clarkson, and even Mohamed Diawara proved last year en route to an NBA championship.